Hey guys, and welcome to my first video for this channel. I am so excited to be sat down today filming this because I'm so excited to get involved with this channel. Before we get started, I must say there might be a little bit of background noise. I've got the window open because it's red hot right now. And I'm basically slowly boiling to death, so I've got the window open. There's going to be birds and dogs and lawnmowers and all that kind of stuff that you hear on a sunny day, but without further ado, let's get on. Today I'm going to be talking about my favourite high-end products. The next video that I put in for this channel is also going to be a drugstore favourites, so I'm going to have a high-end and a drugstore favourites, but I just thought this was kind of a good way to introduce you guys to my favourite products, the products that you're probably going to see me using over and over again. And yeah, so without further ado, let's dive in and see what's in the bag. Okay, so I'm going to kind of pull these out in a random order because they're all mixed up. So the first thing in the bag is these. These are the Clarins Instant Light Natural Lip Perfectors. I'm not a big fan of glosses at all. In fact, I despise like 99% of the ones I've tried. But there are a couple that I do really love, and these are one of them. These are just really lightweight. They're not sticky. They've got a little bit of colour to them, not the greatest amount, but I tend to wear them over things. But this one is my favourite shade. This one is number 1, and it's just a really kind of pretty nice kind of baby pink. And then I've got number 3, which is a nice nude, and then number 4, which is an even kind of lighter, more nudie pink. But these are really lovely. They're not the cheapest. I think they're about £18–19, something like that. But I really want to get my hands on the summer ones with the really pretty like white flowers on the bright packaging. So yeah, I would highly recommend these if you're not a fan of glosses, but you do want to have kind of a couple of glosses that you do really like in your collection. Next up, we've got my favourite foundation of all time. This is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Foundation. Everybody absolutely adores the concealer, which I also do. It's actually somewhere in this bag. But this is also incredible, and nobody ever talks about it. It's described as a weightless ultra definition liquid makeup, and I would completely agree with that. It is so comfortable on the skin. I've got it on now, and I literally couldn't tell you that I'd got foundation on. Because it's so comfortable. It gives a really nice kind of medium coverage, and it's brilliant on my dry skin as it doesn't cling to anything, sits really nicely. I'm not sure how it would wear on oily skin, but on my skin I can wear it this all day and it still looks really great at the end of the day. So yeah, I really love this. The one thing I do have with it is this is the shade 0.5, which is the lightest shade, and it's only just light enough for me. I'd prefer it to be a little bit lighter so I could kind of warm it up with bronzer if I needed to, but I can get away with this most of the time. But I do wish they kind of had an even lighter shade, perhaps like a 0.25 or something like that. I've got a powder blush here. This is Max Fleur Power, and this is a satin powder blush. This is just one of those really easy throw on blushes that you don't need to worry about. It's a nice kind of pinky, sort of a little bit corally shade, and it's just so nice, so kind of everyday. It's one of those blushes that you can wear with any kind of eye makeup look. It doesn't matter what you're wearing, this always looks good, as it just gives the cheeks a really nice kind of natural flush. There's no kind of shimmer to it or anything. There's a slight sheen, but it's barely detectable once on the cheeks. But I do really like these MAC blushes, and I feel like I should probably pick up some more shades because they are really lovely. They blend really well. They're really nice and finely milled, and they just look really lovely on the cheeks. We've got this, which is actually what I'm wearing on my lips now. This is Clinique's Pop Lip Colour and Primer in Poppy Pop. First off, the packaging on these is absolutely adorable. I love the fact that it's got the colour on the bottom, as it just makes them easier to find in your collection. This shade is the most gorgeous kind of orangey red shade. Like I said, I'm wearing it now. I just love how glossy these are. They're very comfortable. They're the kind of lipsticks that you can really kind of throw on, go. You don't need to worry about them. Even though this is such a bright shade, it lasts really well, and then when it does begin to fade, it fades really nicely and really evenly. So I don't kind of worry about the fact that my lipstick's I'm gonna have that like ring around the edge of my lips. But yeah, really like these, and I think they're only about £16, and I think I would actually say I probably prefer these to MAC lipsticks. And they've got quite a nice colour selection. I think there's about 20 shades in the range or something like that. Next up, we've got Benefit Hoola. This is just one of those perfect, kind of, again, everyday, kind of just products that I just reach for and I know I can trust and I know it's going to look really nice. I just use this as an all-over bronzer. It's not too warm. It's got enough warmth in it to warm up the face, but it's still quite cool toned, so it doesn't end up looking muddy on pale skin. It just blends really nicely, leaves the skin looking really kind of nice and bronzed without looking like obvious. And I just really like this one. I think it's a really good one, and these box blushes last absolutely forever. I've had this since Christmas, used it pretty much every day, and there's barely even a dent in the product. Another base here, this is the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue Tinted Hydrating Gel Cream. Again, another one that is absolutely brilliant for dry skin. Oily skin, I would completely avoid this, because even on me it can look a little bit too dewy and I have to like pop a little bit of powder just on my chin and my nose. But this is so hydrated. It's basically like a moisturiser. It's a very nice texture, very lightweight again. This is a lot less coverage than the Urban Decay. I would say this kind of gives you sort of a light to light medium. There's no kind of, you can't really build it. I do find when you build it, it doesn't look cakey, it just ends up looking thick. It doesn't quite settle into the skin as nice as it does. But one thing I do really love about this is it's got SPF 30 in it, which obviously is brilliant for the summer, and I feel like this is one I'm going to get a lot of use out of in the summer. One thing I will say is I've got the shade Vanilla, which is number 2, and it's very yellow. I do wish I'd got the shade below, which is a bit pinker, but they didn't actually have it. I bought this in duty free and they didn't actually have it at the time, so I thought, oh, I'll pick this one up, it'll be fine, but it is a little bit yellow. However, as long as you kind of blend it, it's absolutely fine. But if you are a bit more pink toned, definitely go the shade down from this one if you're super pale as well. Next up, we've got another blush. This is Illamasqua's Cream Blush in the shade Dixie. I also really love the Illamasqua Velvet blushes, however the cream ones just top it a little bit. These are very wet. It's a very wet formula, and when I first swatched it, because I ordered it offline, I was like, uh-oh, not gonna like this. But because they're so wet, it means they blend so beautifully, and this colour is just the most gorgeous, really natural rosy colour, but it can be really built up to be quite intense. These are something that I thought was just going to kind of slip off my face because it's so wet. However, these last for a ridiculous amount of time, and once they're on your cheeks they really do kind of stain and stay until you take them off at the end of the day. So it's actually, I think it's melted a little bit, it's that hot in here. But I really love these. I think there's lots, well, by the looks of the fact that it's melted, there's quite a bit of kind of oil in them, which makes them very creamy. Again, probably not one that would be great for oily skins, as they are quite oily, but for the drier skin types, these ones are definitely amazing. Said before, the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer, I've got Fair Neutral and Light Neutral here. I use Light Neutral on my face and then Fair Neutral under my eyes. These, again, I can see why everybody loves them. Like the foundation, they're very lightweight, they're very comfortable to wear, they blend beautifully. They're basically exactly the same as the foundation, just more pigmented. Shade wise, I'm quite impressed. They've got different tones, and then different, I wouldn't say intensities, but I'm not sure that's the word. Different kind of skin tones. No. Oh. Different tones, like neutral, warm and cool, as well as the different shades, so the fair, light and the medium and the deep, obviously. So it's actually got a really good shade selection. I think there's about 12 of them, but I'm not 100% sure. But again, really nice shade selection, really nice formula. I would recommend these so much. Also, my favourite thing about them, which is a weird thing to have as a favourite thing, is the doe foot applicator. It's really kind of flat, and that means it gets loads of products. You only have to dip in once for basically your entire face, which I just think is really easy, makes life a little bit easier, and it's also nice and flexible to get under the eyes. So I really love this. I love the packaging, I love the formula, I love the doe foot applicator. Finally, for base products, I have this. This is the Clarins Instant Concealer. This is just a good all-rounder, very, very lightweight. I like it for under my eyes a lot as it's very, very high coverage, but still feels very light and quite hydrating. I also really like this for kind of any kind of redness or pigmentation, especially around my noses. It just sits really nicely. This is 15ml, so it's a massive, massive tube, so I can't see myself running out anytime soon. But yeah, I just really like this. It's very long lasting, and it says on here that it relieves tired eyes, which I would agree with. It does seem to have some sort of quite kind of skincare properties, as I do think when I use it for kind of prolonged kind of periods of time, it does make my eyes a little bit less puffy. So I really like this one. It's really good if you've got kind of quite heavy under eye circles, so I really recommend that one for that. This is a product I've been using since I was about 14, something like that. So we're on sort of 3-year terms. I think this is like my 3rd tube, but this is the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. They've changed the packaging again. It used to be a hard tube with a doe foot applicator. Then they changed it to a squeezy tube with a little squeezy applicator, and that's a squeezy tube with a doe foot applicator, which I feel like that's probably the best of both worlds. This is just a really good basic eye primer. There's nothing special about it. It keeps my eyeshadow on. It does what it's meant to do. I've just found it works for me, so I just decided to stick to it. Although I do fancy trying the NARS Smudge Proof eye primer because I've heard so many good things about that. But for now, love this one. Gonna keep using this one. It's amazing. If you struggle with oily eyelids, then go get this one. I've got a couple of brow products here. This is the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in medium brown. I'm going to apologise because it's kind of gross. Right now it's all like smeared around the edge, but you know, we can move past that. This is amazing. It does give a very, very intense brow, which is something that I am a big fan of. However, if you're more into the kind of subtle brows, I've got another thing here which I feel like you'll probably like more. But this is really lovely. I use it with a Zoeva, I think it's a 317 wing liner brush. It just works really well. Lasts all day. I'm pretty sure it's waterproof. It's rained on my face before and I haven't ended up with smudgy brows, so I think it's waterproof. It's really great. I've got on this brow, the arch is basically not at all there because I plucked it off when I was like 11 and it never grew back. So I do have trouble finding products that kind of cover that without looking really obvious like there's no hair there, and I find that this is great because you can draw the little hairs in to make them look like they're there. So I really like this. And I would recommend it if you're into a more dramatic brow. If you're into a more subtle brow, I really like the Smashbox Brow Tex Matte Pencil. This is very, very tiny, a lot like the Anastasia Brow Wiz, and it's got the spoolie on the other end. This is just a nice natural pencil. With it being so thin, you can draw the hairs in if you need them. If you don't need them, you can just kind of do a quick, really quick kind of fill in. What I like to do is it's very creamy, so I like to kind of do line the inside, put a little bit in the middle and then just brush it through with a spoolie if I want kind of a more natural brow. But again, this one can be used to kind of really define your brows, but you've got to work a little bit harder with this than you have with the dip brow. So I tend to use this on more natural brow days. And then finally for brows, I've got the Benefit Gimme Brow. I love this stuff. I think it's brilliant. This is the shade Medium Deep. Adds a little bit of volume to the brows, keeps them set in place, which is another thing I have trouble with, as I have quite long brow hairs, so they tend to kind of go upwards and downwards and it just doesn't look good. But it's got a really, really tiny little brush. Just a really big fan of this one. It is a nice kind of setting gel, it's probably not necessary. It's like £18 for this tiny mini tube, and I have actually just ordered another one in the new packaging. I do prefer this packaging, I'm going to be honest. I'm not sure how I feel about the whole like massively ornate silver packaging that the new brow products are in, but I do. Okay, so we're on the home stretch. We've got 2 more products to go. Benefit They're Real, all-time favourite mascara. This one's completely dried up. I only have it in my collection just so I can show it in videos and like compare things to it in blog posts and things. Also to remind me to buy a new one. I love the brush. I love the way it makes my lashes look. It makes them look very natural. I'm not a fan of big clumpy eyelashes, so I like to put 2 thin coats of this on. It makes my eyelashes look really long. It adds enough volume without adding too much volume that they look really clumpy and gross, and I just really like this one. I think it's a really good mascara. I will say it is a lot of money. I think it's £19.50. So it's not a necessary purchase, but I do really like it, and if you want a high-end mascara I would definitely recommend this one. It's very, very waterproof. I have a lot of trouble with mascara ending up halfway down my face because I've got quite watery eyes, whereas this doesn't budge. It's actually quite difficult to get off at the end of the day, but I find using an oil-based cleanser you can get it off fairly easily. But if you're looking for a good high-end mascara, then I would definitely recommend this one. And then finally we've got the last product. This is the Chanel Rouge Allure Velvet in the shade 347. This is just the most luxurious lipstick I own. For a start, when I press this it pops out, and then you've got like the case and then the actual lipstick. This is just a gorgeous, really deep pink colour. I haven't actually got any more of these lipsticks, but I'm going to Iceland in February and I'm going to be hitting up duty free and picking up a couple more of these because the formula is so beautiful. It's a really gorgeous matte formula, but it is so creamy. It glides onto the lips. Let me just show you a swatch. So I'm going to press on barely at all, and it just glides on. It's so smooth. It is the most incredible matte formula I've found. Nothing like the likes of like the Rimmel matte ones, which feel quite dry. This doesn't pick up on any dryness. You can put layers and layers and layers and layers on and it still doesn't kind of pick up on any flaky bits. It is the most incredible matte lipstick I've ever used, and I am so excited to pick up some more. Also, this shade is gorgeous because it's kind of a deep pink, but it works well for the summer as well as the winter because it's kind of that, it's deep enough to work in the winter but not so deep that you can't wear it in the summer, which is what I love about it. These are ridiculously expensive. I can't actually remember how much it was as I picked this up in duty free as well. But I really, really love it, and I would highly recommend these. If you're looking for a really, really luxury lipstick, these would make the most beautiful gift. So yeah, that's it for today's video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye!